This is Starpath Academy, and this is an update on the mining rig build that I'm doing. Um, and basically, I've started building the frame for the mining rig. Now, I would not advise you to build the frame from wood, but I'm doing it because I'm assuming the risks, and this frame will only be used temporarily, and it's just so I try the rig out before I go ahead and buy an aluminum frame. So it's going to be an open air frame, and let's see how I did it. So I did take a couple of pictures, and I just want to go through what I did and how I did it. But again, I would advise you to build to either build or buy an aluminum frame, for which I will link to in the description. But anyway, let's take a look at the frame that I am building. Um, so it's um, it's made out of wood. The pieces are all the pieces are from about 1.5 inch by 3/4 of an inch at various lengths. So um, I ripped these from using my bandsaw from a larger piece, but all the pieces measure 1.5 by 3/4 of an inch. And the lengths are for the legs 13 inches. This will give the height of the frame. The sides will be 14 inches, and the length is 29 inches. And we'll come to these later. So those are the measurements, and the screws are number 6 screws, and the length is 1.5 inch. So basically, I just lined up all the legs on the floor and placed them on their 3/4 of an inch edge, and measured with my speed square 1 inch of a leg, so it will have a little leg which to stand on, so it has more airflow underneath it. Now this is going to be quite a large frame, because I want to have enough space in between the cards, because I've seen a lot of people dealing with a lot of heat issues, and most of that I believe is coming um, from using rigs that place the cards too close to each other, and there's not enough good ventilation between them. So this will be holding 6 cards eventually, and 29 inches length, that would be a lot, but I do want somewhere in between 3 and 4 inches between the cards just to have good ventilation. So I did mark the spot for the 1 inch legs with using my speed square. All the tools that I've used building this will be, I will have Amazon links for. So if you want them, you can buy them, or if you like them, you can buy them. So with that done, so you can see I just placed the long piece across the two legs, and somewhat better picture, and also at the top. Now I have 1 inch leg at the bottom, and it's flush at the top. And I drilled 2 holes through the long piece um, uh, into the legs, and did the same for the other side. So these will be the two sides of the rig, of the frame. And yeah, I also had to do a little sink to sink the screws. Now I could have done a better job, but the drill bit that I used to make the sinks was actually not that good, so I'm happy with the result. You could clean it up with some little sandpaper or something. So I did that for the other side as well, and then I just use my Makita drill to put in the screws, and you can see it here. I sanded that and cleaned the holes up a little bit later on. And once the two sides were done, the two sides with the length of it, then I just needed to put on the shorter, the 14-inch sides. And again, you can see that these go flush here, and the legs go inside. And I used four clamps, DeWalt clamps, which I love, by the way. I think these clamps are probably, oh man, if you never used clamps before, and you start using clamps, it will change your life. It's very interesting. So I love these clamps. So once I clamped the sides onto the legs, I drilled the hole for it, and yeah, so just another shot of the same thing, so you can see that they are flush here. Close up, and the other side. Right, so once I made sure that everything is square, I just drilled another hole through the side into the long piece. That this hole and screw goes in between the two other screws, and this will actually give you an interesting pattern once all the holes have been drilled and all the screws have been put in. You'll see what I'm talking about a bit later. So I did that 4 times, and now it was held together, and just to be sure, I checked if everything is square again. And just to demonstrate how the screws are going into the wood, I placed 2 screws at the top, so you can see that the screw from the side goes in between the previously placed 2 screws. And another view of the same thing. Right, and then I put another screw from the side into the leg, the new screw here, and another one from here. So this screw went into the long piece, and these two went into the legs. And this is the pattern that I was talking about. That these two are in line and this is not, and that is because the screw that is coming from the long piece from here goes into the leg, and you would need to place the other screw further in, so you can put it in the wood. And I've seen this pattern. There's a YouTube channel called I believe it's Two-Ton Hasher, a very interesting channel, by the way, and I saw that he built a couple of frames for rigs, and all the patterns for the screws were sort of similar to this. It's almost like the Big Dipper or something, a Big Dipper constellation. And I was wondering why he did that way. Well, now I know, and now you know, because you have to do it that way. Right, so another shot of the same thing, and another shot of the same thing. Yeah, I just liked it a lot. Right, so once this side is done, then you just move on to the other side, using the clamps and the speed square again. By the way, this is a really good speed square. I would recommend using it. I did try to. I looked at ones in in shops like Home Depot, and they got, I don't know which brand, but they didn't feel high quality to me, and I got this from Amazon, and like, yeah, I would recommend that buying this one, Maya. It's called Maya 7-inch speed square, really good. I did get the clamps from Home Depot, and I'm really happy about those two. So anyway, so yeah, you just clamp them again to the other side, and double check it, and there you go. Once you put it on, it looks like this. You got the frame ready, and so the dimensions again, just to be sure that you got it. The legs were 13-inch, and by legs I mean these pieces. The sides are these pieces, 14-inch, and the length, or the long part, is this one. And technically you could go for maybe a shorter one for that last piece, but I just wanted some extra airflow. And that is it for the outer frame. And now I was putting on the I call it side support. So basically the side support will go on the two sides, here and below, because you can see this piece over here on the ground that I will place on top of those, so that the graphics card, the end of the graphics card, will be able to sit on it. And the measurements for these were I call this, the one that I'm putting on right now, the side support, which it is 12.5-inch long, and the support beam, which is on the ground. I do not have a picture where I put it on top of those. That is 30.5-inch in length, and those are different than these, because basically you have to count for the width of the pieces. So yeah, and I will put these measurements in the description of the video. And the side support, the measurement between the top of the side, which is this, and the top of the side support, so basically that has to be the height of your video card. And since I'm using the Zotac one, then the measurements for me were 4 and 1/4 of an inch. And this may vary, but I'm pretty sure that is the range you will be in, so most likely close to that. And I believe that's all the pictures I have for today. Yeah, so it was really fun to build this, and yeah, I will have more videos once I put the cards on. So yeah, just to make sure, yeah, I do recommend building this from an aluminum frame, or buying an aluminum frame. I will use this frame just temporarily, and yeah, it was fun building it, and it was cheaper than buying the frame. But yeah, you should go with an aluminum frame if you want to build it. So that was it. That was the update. I hope you guys liked the video. Please subscribe to the channel, and I will have more videos soon. Thank you very much.